Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Leap Taken. I'm Mika here at Leap Taken. I talk all things witchy, craft related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. Welcome. Since I realized the beginning of 2025, I probably will be mostly doing live content here because I think it's just best, as it seems to be the better format. I'm able to get things out easier this way. And hi, Kim Gladden. And I get to sort of focus on my other channel, Magical Lifestyle of a Cottage Witch, for more video style content. And I kind of like doing it like that because right now, you know, you got to find where you can fit in, right? What makes sense for you, and that right now is kind of my system. That's making sense for me. So I will have a video upcoming this week by the end of the week on that channel. If you are interested, go on and get your tea. Get your tea, get your beverage, get your drink. This is going to be a bit spirited, but we're going to keep it calm. Um, Full disclaimer. Hey, Insky, full disclaimer. I am not going to keep talking about, like, this is not the slant this channel is going to go on. This is probably going to be my only and last time that, I could think of that I plan on, hey, Gemstones, that I plan on having conversations about this topic, um, because I think I'll have to protect myself, and that's part of it. I'm going to get to it. I will still continue to obviously talk all things witchy, esoteric, and everything else in between. But a lot of it will be probably coded, and yeah, but yeah, it'll be coded language because I think that's something that I'm going to have to do to protect myself as someone who lives out loud. Um, as a hey Empress Golf and Boku Wakuma 90. I hope I said that right. Hey, hey. um, but yeah, by the way, I hate that I struggle with how to even say that. There's a reason it struggles to come out of my mouth that way, and I hate the reason why. All right. So now that I've kind of got those disclaimers out there, how witches can, and I have my, obviously I have notes because y'all know I want to make sure my message is clear about this. But we're going to talk about how witches can protect themselves during a fascist regime. This is a heavy topic. I found out this morning that there was an executive order. Of course, there's a process with any executive order. So, as we just so we know, when we see executive orders come out, there's a process, y'all. It has to go through Congress. Now we understand where the Congress is right now and how they are swayed, but I'd like to believe that some things are universal. I don't know. The whimsical witch in me still wants to believe that there's going to be a stopgap at some point for some things, like um, equal opportunity, the Equal Opportunity Act. No Worries is a song from one of my favorite Japanese artists. Thank you. But anyway, I feel like I can't fathom any more craziness right now. But anyway, I woke up this morning. I find out that the Equal Opportunity Act, there was an executive disorder to get rid of it. I don't feel like people are talking about that enough, by the way. That's a very big deal. People died for that. People put their life on the lines for that. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, oh, it's just like with any presidency, we'll just bear our way through, yada yada yada. In my lifetime, that wasn't happening. The Equal Opportunity Act still existed in my lifetime. So I think it was what, ratified in 72. I was born in 74. So yeah. Moving on. The purpose of this live stream is to empower and educate. I'll be sharing practical tips, magical strategies, and historical insights. Feel free to share your thoughts and questions in the chat. And at the end, if you guys are up for a Q&A conversation, a Q&A type thing. You can just put your question. You can put it in at any time you have a question, though. Okay. Historically, witches and magical practitioners have often been targeted by oppressive regimes. We understand that. From witch trials to modern day surveillance of marginalized groups, those of us who live outside the mainstream have always faced unique challenges. One key takeaway from history is that full resilience and adaptability are vital. Many witches survive through secrecy, community support. Community support, we talked about this not too long ago, and blending of practices into more accepted cultural norms. Now, what do y'all think I'm talking about on that last part? Blending practices blending practices into more accepted cultural norms. There's one I can think of people who look like me do, and yeah, the problem I've personally had with that though is that like we've had a period of time where you didn't have to do that anymore. You didn't have to lace it in Christianity, and it was still being done, but it was almost like, so y'all believe in that? Okay, anyway, that always threw me a little bit. Boom, the pop culture princess. Um, I'm all for modernizing, and yeah, I'm a black witch who wants to modernize hoodoo. I already practice my version of folk magic. I call myself a cottage witch, so I'm already doing it. I've been doing it for years now. Um, I have great results, but I want to take the practice, modernize it, evolve it specifically for the challenges that we have now without being disrespectful or minimizing what it was and what it's contributed up until this point. I think a reckoning is okay. That's not a negative thing, but that's another conversation. Anyway, so but yeah, the but when you think of other places, Santeria, and you think of all how things have, hey Leslin G, I like that Leslin. Yeah, good afternoon. But yeah, I think that that's something we have to start talking about and thinking about as witches. I mean, I'm going to get into the tips and the protection and all that sort of stuff, but we really need to start talking about that as witches. Um, how will you take your practice in the future if you're not allowed to practice out loud, meaning all occult shops are gone, Catholicism, voodoo, right? What do you think you would do with your practice? You have to start asking yourself these questions now. This is not to scare people or to make it fearful, but it is kind of a fearful time and it is scary. And to want to just kind of, I think this is one of the problems that a lot of our former president who just left the White House, to me, he represented the old way of just sort of stay the course, you know, the epitome of they go low, we go high, when really not really going high. They're just keeping things as they are. Where if they would just step away from keeping things as they are and step into actually being about envisioning a country where all that junk they talk about, freedom, you know, liberty for all, it really is happening. Like you're really trying to make that an initiative and you're fighting against all of those people who are in the way of that or who have a problem with that or who don't want to get on board with that. I just wish that the energy from that presidency was like the level of energy from the new presidency coming in, where they are very loud and proud about their hate, the status quo Joe, right? Um, I felt like he's the consummate politician. He's like the OG politician, and that's how they got down. Um, he ain't had that dog in him, and Joe ain't had that dog. He used to have that dog in him. He ain't got that dog in him like that. He ain't had it in years, and that's the problem. So, what will your practice look like? My coven doesn't realize that's going to be a conversation for us. What will your coven? I mean, what will our coven look like? But what will your witchcraft look like? What will your practice look like if they say we're not allowed to do this out loud anymore? If there's a ban, if there's a ruling, if there's something that becomes law of the land. So be mindful of your personal safety. We're going to switch tones here. This might mean keeping your practices private or creating a safe space within your home. Establish a trusted circle of allies. Community is essential during turbulent times. These are not just words. If I mean, you don't have to join mine, but I have a place called on Discord right now. Discord right now, we're okay. If things change, I think um, I hope I have my own website, leavetaken.com. I will be looking at what can I do within there to host my own thing if it gets too tricky going forward. So we have our community. I'm not looking to, oh, I want to build hundreds. I mean, that'd be awesome. But it would be more of a thing where it's like those who need a place to talk and be comfortable with it. And yeah, keep in mind number 47 said he is not Christian. Exactly. That's, wait, pause. Did y'all see when he was swearing in and Alana up there looking like the mask, Jim Carrey the mask with the hat on? This man got his hand down. He ain't even touching those Bibles. That was I found that funny actually. Yeah, that was hilarious. But right in people's faces. But yeah, community is going to be a big deal going forward. How by God. See, this is when I'm going to go into the antichrist stuff, and I'm not even Christian, but if I was, I would be like, that seemed like that's the antichrist right there. Anyway, who are your people? The mask. Exactly. Who are your people? Do you have people? Who are your people? Do you have a tribe? Do you have a group? Do you have a coven? Do you have people's phone numbers in case something pop off? We experienced TikTok going down. I'm on TikTok. Um, that pissed me off in another way, but anyway, but that's not what we're going to talk about. We're not talking about the band and how it came back and how it's different. And me personally, I was scrolling and I saw ads for the new Melania cryptocurrency. Like, me personally saw it with my own eyes. And I'm just like, got you. Also, Leap Taken's on Red Note. So I'll be, I forgot, I got to add it to the description, but I am in fact on Red Note for now. You know, we'll know how far that's going to go either, but I like it over there. Find community. And the witches are over there too. And people keep saying in the comments on their videos, like, oh, you can't be here doing this because it's considered illegal in China. Well, ain't nobody come and give these people a community guideline warning or ban their account or anything like that. And I'm seeing loads of them. So until I see otherwise, I don't know. They're over there. Just so you know, Witch Talk is on Red Note. And Kim, oh, you said you do not have a tribe. Make sure go in a Discord, join Leap Taken Safe Place for Witches. My intention is to become even more active. I've been over the years trying to engage that, and it's been slow. If you're over there and you know, it's been slow. It's not a lot going on. I have tried. I'm not going to give up though. I'm going to keep trying. So what I was thinking about was I wanted to do like a late night like Q&A thing, and up until this point I was thinking live here on YouTube, but I could do it there. Now here's the thing about Discord, we would all see each other. I mean, you can always turn your camera off, but I can hear you, we can talk to each other, so we could actually just talk. You don't have to be typing it in, but if you don't want to be on screen, that's cool. Just, you know, create a fun avatar so I got something cute to look at when you're talking. You could do that though. But I understand people are shy, or you don't like your background, or you're not comfortable, or whatever you're doing in life, you don't want to, you don't want to put yourself out there. That's perfectly fine. But that's what I mean by community. Let's do that. I prefer to be mostly solitary as a practitioner for several reasons, but the past year I've been seeking out more community. I don't have a tribe. I've tried it, but it hasn't worked yet. It is very hard. Let me tell y'all something. A true story. So I'm a high priestess of a coven. It is technically a virtual coven, although we've had in-person interaction. Um, the amount of people that have come in and out over the years, it's years now that the covens existed. We kind of remark on it like, dang, we the last one standing, like just us, because it has been, when I first started it, I didn't know what I was doing as far as like what the full, I just knew it was on my heart to do. I didn't know where it was going to go. I didn't know. I wanted to do it. I didn't have a full plan on what it was going to look like. It has become a real coven because people have covens online, and it's really just a chat. It's just really like a Facebook group. They're calling it a coven. People use that term loosely. We do magic together. We don't, it's not a teaching coven. We do magic together. Does that, it's a real coven. Well, you could be a solitary practitioner, have community support. Exactly. You definitely can. If a coven is an option to you, I would say this is the time to maybe explore it. But community in general, I'm just providing a safe place for witches to talk to the most mundane witchy things, like, oh, look at the pages in my book of shadow that I did, or oh my god, I made my first whatever, I did this spell, I'm sick, can y'all send healing energy, that type vibe, where we're all just, and eventually you start seeing the same names, you start talking to people, oh, you live over here, oh, I live over here, and then we're going back and forth and just having that sense of community and organized events at certain, we have our Samhain get together, virtual online, and and then eventually it leads into maybe we're doing like our version of our public type ritual or things like that. I'm not looking to try to make money off of people. If you go there, it's a free thing. I'm literally trying to give community because it's going to be tough out here over these next 4 to 8 to forever years. I don't know. I'm hoping, the pop culture princess says, I'm hoping to find a modernized hoodoo coven, but I doubt I'll find one that isn't Christian based. Mine would not be Christian based. This is something I've been toying with. Yeah, I've been thinking about, honestly, in the last day or so, thinking about this. What does that look like? A modernized hoodoo practice. I don't know. It's on my heart. So I might be coming up with something soon. On this note, digital security. Protect your online presence. Use encrypted messaging apps. Be cautious about sharing personal information, and consider keeping your witchy activities off public social media accounts. Consider. This is going to be the case for some of us. I want to say this, depending on what is your work, what do you do, if you have children, family, it can be precarious trying to have an online presence, being out and loud about being a practicing witch, and I feel like we have to be careful going forward. As I said in the beginning, I'm going to speak more in coded language after this. I'll speak probably more in coded language. I'm going to try to see where this takes me. But it doesn't mean like I'm still going to be talking about the same, like witchcraft and things like that, but you'll notice, and it's not just me, you're going to see a lot of people where we're going to be using different words, kind of like on other apps, specifically on TikTok. Instead of RAPE, they pronounce it grape because they didn't want to get any sort of community guidelines or anything like that by saying the word. And it has just become socially acceptable, even when people are talking, because I've personally had experiences where I'm talking to a person, we're not online, and they said grape instead of the what it is. So that's gemstones. Hopefully this is explaining a little bit where you're kind of substituting other words. That's just an example. So I wouldn't stop saying, I probably would go more witchy or spiritual, people, practitioners of the old ways, coded language like that. um, oh, she's the wise, us wise ones, because which, wise, us wise ones know this. Us wise ones, we love having candlelight dinners, and our intentions are set or something like that. I mean, we'll see. It depends on what I'm getting to. But if I wanted to talk about something more baneful, I'll probably take that to my website. Yeah, I'll probably take that to my website directly and post there, and direct you there if I'm going to be talking about, like, I don't know, a ritual, almost like a mass ritual to for protection or for hexing. I wouldn't put that here. I might put that on my website or something like that, but I might use coded language to reference it to get you over there if I was doing something like that. Just saying. um, know your rights. Understanding the laws in your area is going to be crucial for protecting yourself and your practices. I've mentioned I live in Arizona. Right now, as far as I know, there's nothing on the books. I will be doing a deep dive myself to make sure there's some, antiquated law that's not going to come and get me in the end. Um, some of us live in states where there are things on a book that can block your spirituality or make it really difficult, like I said, for your kids and things like that. I'm going to say, we're not trees. We can move. And I know that is crazy to a lot of people hearing that. Mind you, I'm somebody who used to move on average every 2.5 to 3 years. State moves. Sometimes I repeated states. But anyway, I moved a lot. Most of my kids, yeah, growing up, we moved a lot. We lived in a lot of different places. So I mean, maybe I'm biased because I've moved so much. I understand what it's like to not feel like you want to move. But what I don't understand is the idea that you can't. Sometimes when I talk to people, and people I've actually consulted with, I notice that's a thing as well. It's like, you don't have to stay, you can leave. You don't have to stay. We also don't have to stay in this country per se. And there's reasons that a lot of us are going to want to stay. I understand the thing is, my people built this country. I have every right to stay here and fight. Definitely understand that. I also understand my people fought for this country. They died fighting for this country. And I don't want to go through this. I don't want to relive what they supposedly paved the way for in blood. And I'm out. I also understand that. That's fair. That I understand that. But know the law of the land that you're on. Pay attention. I don't have cable or anything like that. I don't watch the news, the 24-hour news. I don't watch that. First of all, I don't get enough information. My place I was getting direct, knowledge from on the ground from the people was TikTok, but that's changing. So I don't know how that's going to go. Believe it or not, I'm actually finding out a lot on Red Note. I'm finding a lot of not just in China, by the way. I'm finding people who live all over this planet, and they're talking and they're sharing and they're talking about what's happening. So that's interesting. We'll have to run away to the mountains of Scotland. Okay, first of all, I've been getting so much content on Red Note from people who live in Scotland, and it's funny that you said that because that is one of my places that I would love to go, but more of a leisure activity. But I mean, if I like it, I don't know, maybe I'll stay there. I don't like the cold though. My mom does and complains to me about it. Okay. Yeah, the coldest would that's the thing. We're all gonna want to go to warm places. I don't know. I can get my car and drive to Mexico if I really just said to heck with it all. I think I tell myself that often, and I do own a passport, so. Okay, but no, seriously though, legal knowledge is going to be our friend. We need to know to what end can we practice, what can, we need to know. And wherever you are, start with where you are. Right now, we can still go on to government websites and look. I don't know how much longer at this point because they're already on a federal level making changes. But for now, pay attention. Magical protection. So we're going to get into this now. Protective spells and charms. Ward your home. I have. I mean, or of course I already have, but more so. Sorry, my phone's ringing. Ward your home and your personal space with protective sigils, crystals, or salt barriers. If you have something else that you is tried and true, do it. Even if you've already been doing this, do it again. You have a new intention. The stakes are higher, things have changed. If you're listening to anybody who you think halfway is psychic and you believe them, if you are listening to people who read cards who you have some trust in, one thing you're noticing is that they're all forecasting similar type energies. Like, we are in the dark times. It's not good. We can survive. That's why I'm doing this. I don't think that, it's to my demise, because I am a practicing witch. So I'm going to, um, believe in my magic and my abilities to protect myself. So I'm engaging you to tell you to do the same thing. So even though we're talking about these dark times and others are saying it too, I'm not over here just fear mongering or anything like that. Like, y'all, it's happening. We're here. We've arrived. Look around. It's not nice. It's not bright. Um, Ward your home and your personal space, and keep those wards up. The Empress Goth. Oh, thank you, Gemstones. The Empress Goth says, "I discovered my artwork has showed me where I'm supposed to be all along." Sunflower and thistle. Think about hiding your work. Vine, Spanish moss. Whatever it is, if you are someone who is fortunate enough to have a garden, even if it's not very large, it's like a small backyard, but it's a garden, um, that is an excellent place to put wards as well that are powerful enough for the entire house. Um, Look to our plant life, look to plants, look to herbal knowledge, even just barely on a surface skimming, like, but we'll need that knowledge going forward. But look to that to help with protection. Create amulets and talismans for personal protection. These can be simple as a piece of jewelry charged with intent. So when you're not in your home, you're at work, you're shopping, you're just out and about traveling. If you weren't open to it, this now's the time, witches. Let's go ahead and put jewelry on, lace yourself. Some of us have tattoos. I think if you wanted to get a tattoo right now with a sigil of protection, I would. I have a serious issue about needles, and that's why I haven't gotten one. But if I can get past that, which I'm gonna try, I have some ideas of some things I want to get. My friend and I joke about getting the supernatural tattoo for the anti demon possession sigil that they have. That I love that. I kind of want that. But I would charge it for real. I would charge that thing for real. Lynette says, "I will continue to practice as I do now. I do not feel threatened at all." Good. Exactly. You know what? And keep that energy. By and large, I'm not. This is to educate and be made aware. It's not to scare anybody. And if you feel your magic is strong and you feel good and you feel like nothing's coming through, good on you. Blessed be. I've been veiling with enchanted wigs, hair color, hair accessories. Perfect. Good use of glamour magic with that. Jimso says you could make your own sigil and get that tattoo. Exactly. That's a big fear. Listen, needles scared the bejeebs out of me. I don't like that at all. Um, I had a allergy test and they put like all those little needle things in your skin on your back. I I barely got through that. Oh my goodness, I don't know if I could sit. That's my biggest thing, sitting. But anyway, a piece of jewelry, clothing, wigs, hair color. Don't forget color magic is also a tool that you can use for protection. So you can do that as well. Cloaking and glamour magic. So cloaking spells can help you go unnoticed by those who wish you harm, and that's going to be especially those who are part of a marginalized group. Um, you might want to invest in saying, "Hey, I haven't." A lot of us when we first started doing witchcraft, we would do cloaking, or just me, I don't know. We would do cloaking spells. That was one of the things that I used to practice as a beginner witch. I remember doing that. So you can definitely try that as well. If you haven't, dusted off that skill in a long time, let's get back into cloaking. Let's do that again. Glamour magic can aid in blending in or projecting a certain image. So that's definitely glamour magic. So tap into that as well. Building resilience and community, self care as resistance. So let's get into this. Caring for yourself is a revolutionary act, especially to those in a marginalized group, aka me, black women. Um, there is a historical component to this with black women specifically, um, where we are not encouraged to rest. So resting is a revolutionary act. Just want to point that out. In times of oppression, preserving your mental, physical, and spiritual well-being is crucial. Caring for yourself. Prioritize rest and recovery. Burnout weakens your ability to resist and thrive. Constantly listening, if you are watching the news, if you're reading, if you're on an app and you're getting a lot of political information, that is a lot. And that is not resting and recovering. It reached a point where you got the information you needed. Stop scrolling. You're doom scrolling. It's not going to help anybody. And it is taxing your mind and your heart and your emotions. It's taxing because you're up and down. You're up and down. We are not meant to be like that. We are not like a dancing video. Oh, a baby, a cute cat thing. I don't know, a war starting. They're going to blow up this. Your rights are gone. A funny, modern family scene playing. Like, we're not meant to go through, like, in a period of time, have that much information, varying random things put together, and just sit there and just keep consuming it for hours on end. Stop. Prioritize rest and recovery. Incorporate rituals for relaxation, your herbal baths, meditation, guided visualizations, whatever gets you. I'm also going to tell you this. If you need help with reaching a relaxing state, take whatever is prescribed to you. If you are in a state where cannabis is on the menu, I suggest you reach into that. Whatever you need to that is not going to overall harm you, I suggest you reach into that and help you. You don't have to do this raw. You can add something else if you need to, because we are in unprecedented times. Yeah. Nourish yourself with good food. I'm having a nice cup of tea to help me. Something with it's a vanilla tea, very relaxing. So nourish yourself with good food, movement, moments of joy. Don't and I'm so like how my grandma, don't let them take, my mom more than my grandma, but like, don't let them people take your joy. Don't let them people take your joy. Find the things, create joy. It's a lot to be upset about. It's a lot to be, for some of us, threatened about, because certain things feel intentionally threatening. I'm not going to lie. Um, it's tough to ignore that and just say, it's not going to be me though. I mean, I'm all for Delulu, but don't be so delusional that you're putting yourself in harm's way, because you're not giving yourself enough time to prepare for what people are promising is going to happen to you. Yeah, but nourish yourself with good food. Eat. Take pleasure in food. Take pleasure And I don't mean overeat when I say that. Pleasure means in the food that you create, enjoy it, eat it, love on yourself, move, dance, do you still have the ability to do all those things. And as witches, movement is if as best as you can. If you're not in a position where you can, be dancing around your house, I understand that. But whatever movement looks like, undulations, never forget undulations, do something like that. Just, swaying of the head, whatever it is you need to do, move, get that movement in, get that blood circulating. It's helpful to us as witches, as humans, but as witches as well. These acts may seem small, but they strengthen your resolve and keep you grounded. Engage in shadow work and journaling to process emotions, and maintains clarity in your purpose by engaging in shadow work. This might not be the time to go into a deep dive on some childhood trauma. If you're going to do it anyway and you feel grounded and you feel like you can, go ahead. Shadow work to process the emotions that you're dealing with now and to offer clarity on where we are now, where you are now, is what I'm suggesting. Journaling about that, right? Getting those thoughts out, especially as we have to question, is YouTube a safe place to have these discussions? We understand TikTok is probably not going to continue to be. We already know Instagram and Meta in general. I'm There's still a big question on what we can say and do on Red Note. So, journal. Sunflower and Thistle says you can enchant tattoos you already have, write sigil on your body and rinse away. Oh, I like that too. Yeah. You can do that as part of your bath ritual too. Just so you know. Engage, excuse me, next on my list I have here, create daily rituals. Daily rituals that reinforce your resilience. Affirmations, like affirmations, or lighting a candle with an intention for strength and protection, especially for those witches who have to go outside that door and you got to go in person. You don't work from home and you got to go work for somebody. An affirmation is probably very low level but high impact. Just having that, something that you speak before you walk out the door, just create a ritual. Maybe you want to, like I said, the protected jewelry, amulets, crystals, having a crystal on you. It's not about showing people and people see that you have it. It's all for you. It's for you to maybe have in your hand, keep in your pocket, your bag, and you just touch that whenever you need that additional strength to get through the day. Okay, so real life, people go into work right now. This week, people have gone into work, and I know someone personally where people are supposedly just asking questions. But the questions are, laced in negativity and, borderline, either homophobia, racism, because people are getting that on all ends because they feel like they can just ask these questions now. They think they can just ask them. So, strength and protection. Create a daily ritual to help with that. Connect with other witches, again, and like minded individuals. Together, we're stronger and can support each other emotionally and, well, practically. I cannot emphasize this enough. Community, community, community. I know I spent time talking about it, but I'm going to say it again. Community. We have seen this. We've seen from, recent history, you have to have a community and you have to be willing to take it offline. That's going to be a tough part. I came up in an age where I know what it's like not to have a cell phone and not to have Google and not have apps or any of that, a computer in the home. I grew up that way. It's interesting because I have two kids. My one adult, both of them are adults. My one child does remember a time without any of that. No cell phone, no computer. She remembers us getting a computer. My youngest, I mean, if he thinks hard enough, he could, but deep down, he doesn't really remember that. He's very Gen Z. He only knows a time of online gaming, mostly. Even though he didn't have a cell phone right away, his sister did. So he remembers that. And I realize that generational divide is going to be make it tough for some people to even fathom organizing and talking to people not on an app, but it can happen. And you might need to look into that. Find so I said find a tribe, find a group, but a person at this point, who is like-minded, another witch. If it has to be a pen pal situation, use what you have. I'm just saying, use what you have. But you're gonna want to strengthen that, um, just connection right now with like-minded people. We may need it mostly, and we might need it for practical purposes. All right, navigating as a black witch. So I noticed someone mentioned they don't feel threatened, and I always feel threatened. My physical space is constantly threatened whenever I walk outside the door. So like real life, it's like, oh, you need to go touch grass somewhere. Yeah, when I touch grass, sometimes my physical space could be threatened by the very people around me. Um, and they want, and I feel like there are some people who go out of their way to make sure that I know that they're allowing me in said space, even though they don't own it. But they feel like they're emboldened to do that. They do that through um, somewhat passive aggressive statements, the stares, the evil stares. If you've never been stared at by a European American man in a grocery store, that's not far from where you live, and they stared you down hard, no smile, and your confusion was, oh, am I like someone behind me, or is he looking for something? Did I not speak? Did he talk to me? So you're questioning and you're like, hi, because you're so confused because you don't understand why they're staring at you like this, so intensely. And then the slow dawning of, oh, he don't like that I'm standing here. He don't like that I'm a black lady standing here. Point blank period. I don't know this person. I don't know this man. Um, but that's threatening because now I've got to gauge, how far is he going to take this? Where is this going to go? That's a threat. So some of us have already lived being threatened on a regular basis as soon as we walk outside. So as much as I'd like to say, yeah, but some of us live in a constant threatened state. I think as women, low key, you do too. And to think you don't is you're lying to yourself. But some of us have to because we got to get through the day. Um, I've always felt, yeah, had to have my head on a swivel always. I have that in my neighborhood, the staring comments. Yup, black women face microaggressions daily, just going through our regular lives. Yeah, the threat is real. It's funny because I had a white friend was like, "You've never told me about this." I was like, "Why?" First of all, one thing, okay, let me give you some trade secrets. To have a white friend, you only gonna talk but so much about microaggressions and things like that with them. It has been my experience in all these years I've been living. If you keep talking about it, you would think it would have a different outcome. Typically, it doesn't. Typically, they don't want to keep hearing it. And that manifests in ways where, they think you're victimizing yourself and stuff like that. If you really told them all the times you experience the microaggressions, they wouldn't, it's hard. I don't know what that is. Ask a white woman what that's about. But I realize I've learned through personal firsthand experience and through experience of just being observant. If you tell them all of the moments every single time, they won't be able to handle that, and that relationship is going to change. You might not even have a friendship anymore if you tell them every single time it happened. Every single time. They don't want to keep hearing it. Don't ask me about it, though. Ask them. Don't ask me, because I'm not the one doing it, so I don't know the motivations and the reasons and the logic. Okay. Being a black witch in a fascist regime often means facing intersecting oppressions, including systemic racism and the stigmatization of African traditional practices. Um, it's important to recognize the strength and resilience inherent in our ancestry and practices. So, draw on the rich traditions of African spiritual practices, such as hoodoo, root work, or Ifa, which have always been tools of survival and resistance, by the way. Incorporate ancestral work to connect with those who came before you and gain guidance from their wisdom. Check and check for me. Building safe spaces. Seek out or create spaces for Black witches to share experiences, knowledge, and mutual support. Safe spaces are essential for healing and strategizing. I've talked a lot about that, but now I'm specifically talking about Black witches. Visibility versus privacy. So decide what level, something I led with here, decide what level of visibility is right for you. For some, being openly witchy can be empowering. It has been for me. For others, it's safer to practice discreetly. Both choices are valid and powerful. Magical practices for empowerment. So incorporate protective working specific to your heritage. Um, if you do like the mojo bags or protective oils and working with an ancestor altars, these are just high level. Please don't think that's all I'm talking about. High level. Use affirmations, again, rooted in self worth and empowerment to counteract oppressive narratives. This is something Black people have done. um, Growing up, my mom would always tell me, uh, you know, that I'm pretty and don't let anybody tell me differently, especially if somebody say, it's because of my skin color or something like that. My mother has much richer melanated skin than I do. And to see how she's had to navigate the world, when people make backhanded compliments um, about, oh, you're pretty for a dark skin, or seeing that she's at work, she's being treated a different way, but somebody who has light skin, whether they're Hispanic, just a person of color, or just mixed, or just very light, or they are treated totally different. She's retired now, but she's worked for over 40 years in government. She worked over 40 years in government, state government. And she has seen it all and experienced it all. Um, Affirmations were necessary because my mom didn't just say this stuff; she believed it. If she had to, I watched this woman. She didn't call herself a witch, but to me, that was the witchiest thing she could have ever did. She embodied the phrases "Black is beautiful." She embodied that. So I'm telling you, this works because she embodied it. So therefore, she holds herself. She comes, she present. Listen, my mom's still low key a city girl because she still posts selfies and stuff like that. I love this woman for that. Don't let it fool you. 68 where she still posts selfies. She still do her makeup. Her and my daughter, sometimes they'll have she's in her 20s. They'll have the same, they like different color lipsticks. They don't wear just like a red or no, they wearing some silver lipstick. They both go back and forth. My mom is that girl. She gonna pop out with her color coordinated outfit because she from that time. A color coordinated outfit on and her lipstick, and because she still like this because she really believes it. Honey, Black is beautiful. I'm beautiful. What are you talking about? Nobody's gonna get me down. I don't care that this man might have said this or this woman over here said this. I'm beautiful. Colorism is real, especially for Black people. Yes, it is. My goodness. Um, she's had to empower herself on just her physical looks because constantly keep getting harassed about your physical looks does affect the inside and will change possibly what you're willing to put yourself out for, what you're willing to go for because you feel hindered by the outside. So she worked that way because, like other people, you can choose to represent You know, there's certain people. I feel like this is a conversation we get like with Hispanics, and some of them look white presenting. Unless you tell me, I don't know. I thought you were a white person. Um, where most of us, you know who we are right out the gate. you know you already know. So there is no hiding. It doesn't matter. So I'm immediately judged on my skin color. Um, I wish in 2025 people would stop being so purposefully obtuse about that. You know I'm black, and you begin to immediately respond to me because I'm black. People do that all the time. Other black people do it to each other. Like, it's a thing. There is no such thing as colorblind. You always know I'm black. Even if you don't see me, you hear me, you know I'm black. You saw my name and you knew I was black. And you treat me differently, good or bad. I'm gonna leave that there. Anyway. So, if there are any other questions, this is the time to drop it in the chat here. I'll answer if y'all have any. That's pretty much what I had prepared to talk about. My channel here, I'll continue to talk all things witchy, craft related, and all that sort of stuff. I am not going down this particular road at this point. This was more about protection than it was about let's have a political discourse on this channel and talk about all these things. I'm not afraid of it. I do have these conversations. It's just not happening here because I know I already see what's going on. I am somebody who does tap into their own psychic abilities. And honestly, I don't need any tarot cards or a spirit guide really to warn me. Writings on the wall is plain as day. I see what it is and I will move accordingly. I'm also in a space, I'll be honest with all of you, and I've grappled with this. I'm okay with F around and find out moments that we're in. A lot of people, they didn't listen to the 92%. And you didn't listen to the 92%. We did the right thing when it was time to go in that voting booth. We did the right thing. A lot of others didn't. So I'm not getting out here putting my life on the line. You keep yourself saying, yeah, exactly. I'm not putting my life on the line. Honestly, I did a radical thing when I voted. People fought. People got their behind beat, y'all, so I could go vote. I'm part of the 92%, and I did it. And I did the right thing. Apparently, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough, and here we are. And I'm telling you how to protect yourself based on what we all knew was going to happen. We knew all this stuff was going to happen. We told you. And I find it fascinating. People are saying, why do you take pleasure in saying I told you so? Do you think this is pleasurable? But the only pleasure that I truly can derive is y'all about to F around and find out. For those who thought, not me, it's not going to happen to me. Oh, I make money, so, I'm fine. My money's going to protect me. If they take your rights away, what money? If it's deemed you don't have rights, what money? What money? I'll leave y'all with that. Stop thinking what can't happen. Roe v. Wade was never supposed to happen. People put so much on the line for that. It was never supposed to be reversed. Name's Renee. Hey, I love that name. It's a lot of things that wasn't supposed to happen, but it happened. And another thing I would just warn you, if you're older, you probably don't do this, but if you're younger than me, and I used to be like this, and I'm not like I'm not like criticizing you for it, but I'm just telling you to be aware of it. Don't do this thing where you keep thinking something happened a long, long time ago. Um, if you're in your early 30s, something 20 years ago does seem like a long time from your lifetime perspective, right? But it's really not. It's not that long ago. If people are alive to tell you what happened today, it's not that long ago. Then people are still alive. Like get this idea about these years being so ancient and long ago. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. If they're still alive and can tell you the story, it's not that long ago. And that's important to remember and to think about this. This is kind of the conversation. If you ever take like a world history class or more of a world religion class, most professors tell you that you're going to have to set aside your biases as best as you can and try to use a different frame of mind and be objective when receiving this information. Stop trying to take it through a lens of what your worldview. Try to put that and just receive the information. Just receive it. Just look at it just objectively as you possibly can. You need to use that lens right now. um I would tell you not to be emotional, but I'm struggling with that myself. I have a lot of water in my chart, and that's where I'm in conflict. That's where I'm in conflict personally. There's a personal issue that I'm still working through. But what I will tell you is no one can tell you not to be emotional. Use your emotions instead. Alchemize. Use mental alchemy um, as well. So it's not about not expressing your emotions, it's about alchemizing those emotions. And only you, depending on the emotion and what's going on, can you decide how you're going to do that. Okay, so where are we at? I'm physically, yeah, and they're going to find out quick too. Yeah. I'm physically and spiritually protecting myself and my family. God has blessed whoever tries me. And yes, that's a threat. Fire, yes. Visions by Anna Coral says, I'm sorry that you feel there's an attack on you because I don't feel your same mental. If you're that deep in a simulation, then maybe consider getting out of your head to get out of your way. This is a prime opportunity. I'm just gonna move forward. It's all trying to come back. We have to stay protected. You're choosing to feel targeted. There's no need. Your world and your reality is not trying to destroy you, love. Oh, she called me love. Oh, you really trying to test me? Anyone evolved knows how to move in, how not to buy into this narrative of suppression. Oh, well, that's what the video's about, um, hun. That's what it's about. This whole video is about protecting yourself so you don't feel oppressed. Getting in your magic bag, casting spells, doing rituals so that you don't feel oppressed, so that you are not part of that. That's not your experience. That's what the video's about. Do you want to turn your captions on? Maybe if you see the words as opposed to me just talking, maybe because I know sometimes when I read the words, it helps, like, it sinks in more. Sometimes you need the words and the video. I know that helps me a lot. Anna is obviously triggered. That's what the pop culture princess said. Yeah. Um, uh, you do not need aesthetics. Is that how you spell aesthetics? You either have the gift in you or you don't. Evolution, not at all. I'm simply sharing evolution in the craft. No, baby, I'm sharing evolution in the craft. Yeah. Yeah. No, to be clear, I'm going to give you this. There is danger in having the idea of a victim mentality. Um, there is definitely danger in that. There is danger in having the worldview. No, she's not, but I'm going to take this someplace else. Um, Having this worldview that everyone is out to get you, because of this thing about yourself. So let's take being a woman, okay? Let's take being, I don't care who you are, you're a woman. So you're navigating the world and you're being told you should probably get married. And this is centuries of this for your safety, especially if you're considered, society deems you attractive. It's going to be in your best interest to be married because you need protection. You need protection, right? Protection against who? The men, right? Okay, cool. All right, but you don't victimize yourself. Instead, you make a decision that, well, I do, it's a practical decision. I do need to be protected, so let me go find a husband. Let me, put myself out here. You wouldn't find, they would suppose that you get picked, right? So you get picked and you're married and now you're protected. But what about those women who end up marrying someone they should be protected from, right? Okay, so now, and it's a whole lot of these women all over the globe, by the way. It's not an American thing. It's not a white thing. It's not a black thing. It's not it's a woman thing. And you're now in a full-on marriage with someone who you should not be in. They are the person you were afraid of. Um, and they're terrorizing the house. You have children with them. They're terrorizing you and the children and so forth. Let's say you get to leave that. You get to leave that situation and you do your best as you can and you finish raising your children and this person is not in your life anymore and you meet new people and you meet a new man, even though you're not going to, I'm no victim. No, I'm going to think practical about this. They're all not like that. So, and this is a story of millions of women, by the way, across the globe. I'm not just hear me out. Not taking on a victim mentality. Oh gosh, no. You meet somebody else. Well, your first one was somebody you wanted to be protected away from. You thought you were doing the right thing. This new person, it's just different, but it's the same formula. So they told you they would protect you. They told you they would protect you. Except the controlling and protection, there is no difference in their mind. It means all the same. And if you don't submit to things, you're finding that you're facing similar issues that you had in that first situation. Okay, you're no victim, so you go run the course of that relationship, and let's say you get away. You're no longer in that situation anymore. You have a series of situationships where you're finding a lot of the men that you come across all have this thing in common where you're noticing that they want to make you a victim essentially, but you're no victim. So you reach a point in your life, you get older, a little wiser. The kids are older and now, and you're realizing I've got to be my own protector. Um, and I have been victimized repeatedly. And I have believed between religion, patriarchy, including women who support patriarchy because they also have internalized this in a way where they really think they need to live a certain way for their protection and their security and their standing in society. And one day you get old enough, the frontal lobe, grew in and everything, and it's fully developed, and you realize that you've been victimized repeatedly. You have been a victim. And to not see it that way has caused you more harm than good. You've put your children's life in jeopardy because you've been repeatedly victimized. I didn't even get into the situations when you've been in work situations and sexual harassment formed as, oh, it's just a joke, and your job's on the line, being told to wear a skirt to show off your legs and things like that. I'm comprising a lot of actually real life experiences, people I've actually encountered and met with in person, real life, and I'm giving you an example. Um, it didn't serve any woman to think that she wasn't victimized. Now, going forward, is that all her story is? Is that she was a victim of domestic abuse and that's it? Is that her whole story? Of course, that's not her whole story. That's a part of it, but it is a part of it. There was victimization on her repeatedly by the people that supposedly were kept saying they would protect her. She was a victim. She was a victim. So I sit here and I explain to you about real physical threats to me being given by a group of large European men because they were larger. I'm not a big girl. So they're you large to me and you can cause physical harm to me. And there's nothing I can do about it because even if I bleach my skin, I'm still gonna be black. So I'll just be a lighter black. So I can't not be black. I know you don't know me. I haven't spoken. I haven't done anything to you. So the only thing on the table is I'm black. It would be harmful of me to not realize this person would like to victimize me for that reason. It would be harmful of me to pretend that's not happening and to not prepare for a possible assault. That would be harmful of me. It would be ignorant. I would be putting myself in danger. So don't confuse awareness with victimization and self victimizing myself. That's all. That was a long-winded, long drawn out thing, but I wanted to take it out of a race conversation. Um Good conversation that makes sense. Yeah. So we're going to move on. Putting people above others. Nobody is above. I just use women as a whole category. Do you know how foolish it is to walk around? And we're going to take it away from this thing. It is foolish with this conversation to assume that what I've recently learned, if you watched any of my lives recently, is being out of the supposed out being out as a witch out and loud saying I practice witchcraft has caused physical threats to me by people who know me. So being a witch already puts you in a marginalized group. By the way, now being in a marginalized group and then that's called intersectionality is a whole other thing. I just kind of went through that by the way, but anyway, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy out here. But don't do this thing where you want to pretend. Um, I think practicing witchcraft means you have to have a little bit of delulu, and I'm cool with that. I call it whimsy. But balance, balance, keep it balanced. Don't whimsical yourself into a dangerous situation. Um, yeah, don't do that. Be just keep your head on a swivel. Be mindful and being aware. Know what type of threat you're dealing with and process it accordingly. Um, Now's the time to draw on strength and protection. Yeah, yeah. I don't. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this other situation, but I'm telling you to draw strength, and I'm telling you to pay attention, and I'm telling you if you want to take your work offline as far as practicing, being open about witchcraft, maybe you want to do that. I'm telling you to foster community, um, build it and they'll come. If you don't see a platform or you don't see a place or anything like that for you, make one yourself. That's what I did. Make one yourself. That's the message for today. That's what I'm talking about. And with a specific bent, as because I am a Black American witch, is to also get in touch with your ancestral magic because there is a direct correlation to our ancestors who went through worst, what I truly believe they'd like to take us back to. Um, they've experienced it. We have the knowledge. We have access. If you do any sort of ancestor veneration, you do have access to that. So you have your own um, secret weapon, so to speak. Use it. Sympathizing with oppression by denying the struggle of Black women. Yeah. Out of curiosity, are there any books you have that you think would be good regarding this particular topic, which you're not? That's a great question. Um, I'm going to think on this myself. There's a couple things that come to mind. Um, Maybe herbalism books, that definitely for sure. The practicality portions, I do have some things right off the bat, but I think I'll talk about that on Friday. I'll get together a list and give you guys for that, because that's actually a good point. I can reference that. The way I approached this years ago is when I homeschooled my college, high school student. We did pre-colonial. I think history is where you learn the most. The question is, where do you get your history from? Because there's been whitewashing and biased approaches to historical facts and things like that, and the victor writes the history book. So um, I was able to teach a good amount of pre-colonial Africa through, what was the name? One book that I referenced. It was called When We Ruled. I think that's what it was. I'll get the list together. But anyway, I used a lot of that material and other things as well. A lot of stuff is probably going to seem boring. It's going to, because a lot of these books, they don't write, it's not like pleasure reading. It's more academic. So you're not like reading from cover to the end. You're finding parts and things like that in it. But that was something that was super beneficial. So it was important for me in our education, even though we were using um, a very Eurocentric approach to homeschooling. I alchemized it and I made it more not just that. Like, I didn't want my kids to just understand the Greeks and that sort of way. We also went into African mythology and things like that. And I was learning along with them, but I one thing I know how to do is access resources. So I've been trying to figure out like the curriculum that I built and if I could turn that into something else for adults. It was high school level, and it does involve a lot of discussion because we would read something and there was writing and we would talk about the works and things like that. And you know um, it tied into like the historical, basically we did like world history, but at a certain time frame. I was like following a timeline approach. Yeah. Anyway, I'm trying to figure out how to go back into that and create something maybe for here, because that was life changing for both of us when we were going through that. You know what? I have been on a bit of a herbology kick lately. Got you. History through the eyes of the oppressed is very different. It's a good thing to see how different the perspective is and how it's being passed down. Exactly. I just read JSTOR articles for fun, so I'm all good with academic text. Good. Now, no fact checking. Have to search carefully. Yeah, you do have to search very carefully. Um, a lot of times people don't even realize some things are right there. You just have to make the connections. For instance, a lot of the in other European countries, they did at the time, but they had links to the museums. I think it still is a thing, right? Where you physically on your computer, so get on the big computer so you get the big screen, but you can kind of like do a walk around and they'll show you their most recent exhibits and things like that, and you watch it online. So like the ones that have like a lot of the I want to say found stolen artifacts from other countries, especially the continent of Africa. But you can go there and they'll provide you the information of the dates and the time frame and things like that. All you got to do is start putting on your thinking caps when you receive this information. So start to ask yourself, especially when you start looking at the dates and you see what the artifacts are and practical uses for things, not just yet the beauty as well. Actually look at all the things and start to formulate questions on time frames. Excuse me. And well, how are these things true? if I, up until this point, whether I realize I've just been biased, have I really been taught this, or has there been like subliminal messaging in my adult life, including when I was coming up, to make me believe that in this part of the world, nothing was happening. That was something as an adult I came into understanding about when I thought about, wait, so in Arab countries prior to, um, it was documented well before, any kind of flying device was done here. They already had things written out on basically a machine, some sort of device, where they were practicing like an airplane, like flying through the sky, some sort of vehicle, I should say. Um, that was already happening well before. I don't have the exact time frame, but well before. And do you want to know how all that knowledge got snuffed out? Religion. Yeah. So just start, you can honestly just start looking at things like, I guess, yeah, approach academically, open mind, and just start kind of viewing the world from just like this, just wanting to understand and learn, and then make your connections. If there's a piece, some sort of artifact that predates a time that you've been told didn't exist because it was this way, it wasn't that way, but the artifact is sitting in a museum and everybody agrees it's from this time well before then. You have knowledge right there. That's knowledge right there. I'm just telling you like simple ways, because a lot of everybody's not going to open up a book and read a bunch of stuff. I'm telling you, like, go on. um Dang, I don't have this. Oh, I used to have like folders of just resources and stuff like that, and I would create lessons plans, and I would say, okay, here's the link for you guys to go here, and you're gonna do this, and you're gonna do this today. um Gosh, I miss that. I miss the homeschooling curriculum days and designing all that. It would take me like the last 2 months of the summer to create two sets of curriculum, one for my daughter, the oldest, and then the other for my son. They're 3.5 years apart. It was a lot of work, but I enjoy doing it. I enjoy doing that. I think that's why I like doing this, by the way, because it's kind of on the same level. Um, yeah. So if you ever want, like, how did she get here? What made her get on YouTube and start talking and wanting to share this sort of stuff? Um, yeah, I think it's always been in me. One of the ways I got to do it was being a homeschooling parent. And yes, I also brought in some of my witchy stuff occasionally where it fit. But my kids were always allowed to make up their own mind about whether or not they wanted to practice witchcraft or not. So I'm basically getting at, this wasn't a religious type of like homeschooling thing. If anyone else is also okay with academic writing, JSTOR allows 100 free articles a month. What is help my mind out? What does that stand for? Because I'm not understanding, and I probably know, but I don't know right now. So if you could just type that out in case it's somebody like me that doesn't understand what you're saying, what that is. Charge it to my head, not my heart. I don't know what that stands for. But I'm going to head and let it go from here. I thank you all for coming in and contributing to the conversation. Like I said, this is not like a turn for the channel. We won't be going into activism, but so much and all that. I will be continuously talking about protection, maybe getting more specific about it. Lots of cool witchy articles too. Cool. I will definitely get more into that because I think that's it's on trend. It makes sense for all of us right now, and it's something I'm actually doing. So expect a lot of protection work coming up, probably on both channels, along with other things as well and other conversations. But yeah, I think it would be unsafe to continue to talk like this, especially because I am a Black witch. Yes, specifically that reason. That would be why it could be very unsafe for me if I already feel threatened just being Black. Add witch to it, yeah, I'm increasing um more threat levels to myself. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for contributing as well. Thank you. Thanks for explaining that. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go. I will see you Friday for my witchy review. Primary sources. Yes. I will be back with witchy review. I did a local witchy store haul. So I'm going to be showing some of my treasures that I got from that. I cannot wait to talk about that. Yeah, and some other stuff, but that I'll leave that there. I'll surprise you on Friday. All right, bye. Like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Hit the join button to join the membership if you're interested here. It supports this channel, so I would greatly appreciate that. And there are perks like 40% off everything over at leaptaken.com. I have a website, leaptaken.com. You can book me for services there as well. All right, now I'm done. Bye.